I guess my kernel of wisdom is that divorce is not an easy process, but I always like to say that if you look at your life as a novel, that the divorce is one chapter, and it might be a bad chapter, but there's going to be good chapters down the road when you go through the process. And that process can be made easier by putting together a team of professionals like Melissa, like Leslie, Nicole, and myself. And as I mentioned, a therapist or a divorce coach, and then of course your legal advocate, which is a family law attorney. So I know that it's hard, and these things might seem really overwhelming, and there's also this emotion, but I do think that if you can keep telling yourself that you're going to be able to get through it, and it will get better.
Well, I would love to say, it's really important not to use a family member or friend. I would use an unbiased realtor, someone, whether it's someone like me that has certification, certified divorce real estate expert, or someone that has all that experience. You want a neutral party. I work for the house to get you the most amount of money possible. And it just is very sticky to use a relative or someone that's good friends with one of the spouses and not the other. You want someone that's trained in issue spotting and be able to know how to read all these stipulations and court orders and understand the whole legal process. So I can't stress enough that how many times I'll get a listing that I'm the second broker. They first hired someone, a family member, and then that didn't work out and kind of raised the conflict. So that's my piece of advice.
Good advice.
I'll circle back to credit. That's one of my favorite topics. Not really even specific to divorce, but one of my nuggets for credit is you always want to keep your balances on your credit cards to less than 30% of the limit. So that's going to give you your optimal credit score. And it does not matter if you pay that credit card off every month, because you may have paid it off on Wednesday, but guess what? That credit was reported on Monday. So it's going to appear as if you're maxed out, even if you're paying it monthly. So just as a rule, just try to keep your balance in your head. Your limit is now 30% of whatever that actual limit is, and that's going to give you the best credit score or better credit score.
Melissa, is that an aggregate, or do you want to look at each credit line separately?
Thanks, Nicole. Each line separately.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
Because you don't, yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, that credit card is going to look maxed out, and it makes you look, I guess, more desperate for credit, that you're using it all. So they're not going to pull it every single day. They just see whatever was reported on Monday, even though you paid it off on Wednesday. So I do that personally as a rule. That's what my limit is now, that 30%.
It's a great piece of advice.
That is a great piece, especially because, even like I said, I know we're focused on divorce here, but credit just drives so many decisions today, right? Whether you're renting, employers, cell phone. I feel like you wouldn't think like, oh, my credit impact my job. Yeah, insurance. So I think that's a good tip for regardless of your marital status. So those are all great kernels. And I just wrote that one down, Melissa. So I'm going to check my credit to make sure I'm following that tip. But I would say my kernel is kind of maybe a little summary of what we've talked about today. I mean, first of all, you definitely want and need an attorney for the divorce. Definitely build your team, but build it sooner than later, because you don't want to agree to a settlement where you're keeping the house or your soon-to-be ex-spouse is going to keep it. You don't want to learn that you or they don't qualify for a mortgage, because of how maintenance was structured, or they don't have enough income to support it. So, you want to involve the team members sooner than later so that you can understand if this is the settlement scenario that we're agreeing to, it can actually be affected after the divorce is finalized. Because even if a judge approves it, that's just one approval in the piece. The bank still has their underwriting standards. I know Mary Beth and I've seen with some of the retirement plans, there's different people who also have a say and approval in actually being able to implement your marital settlement agreement.
Nicole, I literally have sooner than later team written on my notes. That was another
Great
note that
minds, great minds. So yeah, so that's my kernel.